Okay. So, hi, my name is Ali Azira binti Azahar, and I'm from DEC 5C. Today, we have our interview for today. So, can you please introduce yourself, please?
오케이. 안녕하세요. 제 이름은 강나연이고요. 저는 한국 나이로는 21살, 만 나이로는 19살입니다. 그 다음에 저는 지금 현재 대학생입니다. Hi, my name is Nayan and I'm 19 years old now and I'm university student now.
Okay, thank you. When did English start to
Mhm.
expand in your country, and how did it affect your country until now?
I think it started when exchange with the United States began in the late Joseon dynasty, and since then interest in English has grown, and English is now recognized as a language that must be learned in Korea.
I see. So, based on the question earlier, what is your opinion about the expansion of English in South Korea? Do you think it's great, or do you think it's better if the Koreans stick with Korean only?
I think learning English is good because English is very well used language in whole world. So people should learn English to trade with other country or like make interact with other countries people. So I think we should learn English.
Okay. Now, the fourth question: do you have any difficulties
Mhm.
pronouncing words? Since in the Korean alphabet, right, there are certain Roman alphabets that do not exist in the Korean language. For example, like the word V.
There's no th sound in Korean, so most Korean find it difficult to pronounce this, and also R sound is quite difficult to pronounce for Korean also because we don't roll our tongue as much as people who use English do. So also it seems to be more difficult in English because there are many cases where words such as knife are not pronounced exactly as they are spelled. So I think Korean have a tendency to read English as it is spelled just like Korean.
So, if I give an example of a word, for example, how do most Koreans pronounce red velvet?
Red velvet.
Or red. Okay. So that's the end of our questions. Yay! So now I would like to thank you a lot for helping me out for this interview for my assignment. So I
Was good.
okay.
Thank you. It was fun.
Yes. Thank you, Nayan. Assalamualaikum and hello. My name is Ali Azira binti Azahar, and for this final assignment, I'll be covering a country from the expanding circle, which is South Korea, and I'll be talking about the English as lingua franca, as well as the globalization of English in South Korea. A little bit of introduction of my interviewee. Her name is Kang Nayeon. She was born and raised in South Korea. She is currently 20 and a university student in her country, but she was also an exchange student in the United States for a couple of months. Moving on to our first agenda, which the question is, when did English start to expand in your country, and how did it affect your country up to now? Based on her answer of the question, English started to exist in South Korea during the United States expedition in the said country, which occurred in 1871. The goal of this expedition, or also known as Shinmiyangyo, was to establish a trade relationship. The Korean government, or also known as the Joseon government back then, made an effort to introduce English as an educational subject back in the 1880s for the purpose of modernization. Ever since 1883, English is recognized as a crucial subject in their education system until now. Students must pass specific English proficiency exams such as TOEFL or IELTS in order to admit into universities. It reflects the growing emphasis on the global competitiveness and the importance of English language in the academic pursuits. However, English is still not used as the primary language in day-to-day settings, as the majority of Korean population communicates in their mother tongue, which is Korean, or also known as Hangugo. English is only used in certain urban areas, which are the tourist attractions, such as Myeongdong or Hongdae. Moving on to the next question, I asked her what is her opinion or reaction towards the English language expansion in her country. She stated that the impact of English expansion in South Korea has been positive in terms of education, technology, as well as international relationships due to the modernization. She also hoped that Koreans are able to take the English learning more seriously so that they're able to use it in their daily lives as well as having conversations with people all around the world. For the last question, I asked her, do you have any difficulties pronouncing English words since there are certain alphabets that do not exist in the Korean alphabets? Based on her answer, in the Korean alphabet, or also known as Hangugo, there is no th sound. At least it is not commonly used. Words that have the sound will tend to sound like S sound or a mix of s. For example, the word tree will sound like sri. For some cases, there are also some Koreans pronounce the with a hard D sound. So the word think will sound like dink. Other than that, in the Korean alphabet, the L and R sound share the same alphabet. This is the reason why Koreans tend to confuse which sound to use when pronouncing words that contain L or R alphabet. Also, they do not roll their tongues as much as English speakers do, which makes it harder for them to pronounce the R sound. As an example, the word ribbon will pronounce as ribbon, or radio as radio. Lastly, the V sound does not exist in their mother tongue alphabet. Instead, they substitute it with the B sound. So if it is pronounced in the Korean English pronunciation, the word velvet will sound like velvet, or revenge as revenge. Next, I'll be talking about English as lingua franca in South Korea. In South Korea, English is the main language of communication for people who are from different linguistic origins. This is especially noticeable in industries like business, technology, tourism, and education. The extensive use of English as a lingua franca is a result of South Korea's involvement in multinational enterprises, emphasis on international trade, and global economic integration. Government's initiatives to support English education have also added to the language widespread use in the nation for both domestic and foreign communication. Last but not least, in South Korea, the globalization of English is particularly evident due to several factors including tourism. With South Korea's growing popularity as a tourist destination, English is widely used in the tourism industry to cater to foreign visitors. Signs, directions, and information at tourist attractions are often available both in Korean and English. Workers in the tourism facilities, such as hotel receptionists, are also trained to speak fluent English. The extensive usage of English in South Korea's tourism sector represents the country's commitment in welcoming foreign visitors around the world. Also referred as K-pop or K-drama, the South Korean media has become incredibly well-liked all around the world. With the use of translation and communication channels, English acts as a vital bridge language for foreign fans of the Korean entertainment, allowing them to interact with content, contact with artists, and joining fan communities. Through social media posts, interviews, and song translations into English, fans can have better understanding about the South Korea media culture. English is also the primary language used by the Korean entertainment companies to communicate with their international audience. This allows for direct statements, announcements, and promotional activities that cross linguistic and cultural barriers and promote a sense of community and connection among fans all over the world. This is all from me, Alia Azira.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Amira binti Muhammad Faizal. I am a college student and my course is a diploma in English communications. Okay, so Mr. Faraz, can you introduce yourself?
Assalamu alaikum and walaikum assalam. My name is Faraz Rafi. I am 25 years old. My education, I have done my intermediate and I continue my BPA. My first semester start. Uh, so let's question please.
And for the third questions, when did English
Yeah.
start to expand in your countries and how did it affect your country until now?
Okay. English start expanding in Pakistan during the British colonials. Means prepared which last which 1947. Yes, 1947 war. Independence in Pakistan, 14 August 1947. Pakistan gained independence. The English languages of past established as the languages of educations and government levels and business and work levels of. I think this is hello.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
I say independence. English means English is start expanding in Pakistan during the British colonials. Means for 1947 since 1947 since when Pakistan gained Independence Day. The English language is mostly used not in Pakistan. Then British come in Pakistan means Bari Sahir. Bari Sahir means India and Pakistan is equal.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Then start English now. The British income in Bari Sahib means Indian and Indians, not a Pakistani, totally area of India covered. But Mughal Azams, Mughal Azams,
Not really.
but Mughal means I cannot. But Mughal is a caste of Indians. Mughal, yes, Mughal caste of Indians. So Indians and British war. So British is win. So then British in Bari Saghir. Then start British English in Bari Saghir. So independence. I think 200 years.
Mm,
200 years in yes. 200 years.
okay. Okay, so for the next questions, do you have any difficulties pronouncing word? For example, the word thorough, because certain alphabets do not exist in your language alphabet.
Okay, okay. No, I don't face difficulties pronounce words as I don't have physical presence or language alphabets. My capabilities include processing and generating text based on uh, pattern and information present in the data on which I was trained.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Faras. This is all the question that I want to ask you. Thank you so much.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay.
It's okay, it's okay. No problem.
Okay.
But thank you so much.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Nur Amira binti Muhammad Faizal and I will be interviewing a person from the outer circle country which is Pakistan. His name is Faraz Razi. He is 25 years old and is currently working as a supervisor at the KFC. For question number 1, I asked my interview when did English start to expand in his country and how did it affect his country until now. He answered that English gained prominence in Pakistan during British colonization from 1859 to 1947, becoming a significant language in administration and education. After gaining independence, English retained its status as a second language and is widely used in education, business, and official communication in Pakistan. Its continued influence is evident in the country's bilingual education system, making English proficiency an essential skill for many Pakistanis. For question number 2, I asked him what is his reaction towards the English language expansion in his country. He stated that the expansion of English in Pakistan is beneficial as it is significantly improved employment prospect. English proficiency enhance access to global job markets, providing individuals with a competitive edge and opening up diverse career opportunities. Overall, the widespread use of English in Pakistan facilitates increased employability and economic growth. For question number 3, I asked him, do you have any difficulties pronouncing words since there are certain alphabets that do not exist in your alphabet? He stated that in the Urdu alphabet, the th sound is absent, commonly replaced with s or z. For instance, the English word this is pronounced as this in Urdu. Additionally, the V sound is substituted with a W sound, transforming words such as voice into voice in Urdu pronunciation. These phonetic adaptations highlight the linguistic nuance and differences between the Urdu and English language. English holds a significant position as a second language in Pakistan, serving as a lingua franca, particularly in higher education where numerous courses are conducted in English. Proficiency in the language becomes integral for academic success in this lingua franca context. This dual prominence of English as both a second language and a medium of instruction underscores its significant position in the educational landscape of Pakistan. English plays a pivotal role in Pakistan global integration, particularly in multinational companies and trade, where it serves as a common language, fostering economic connectivity on a global scale. Additionally, its use in communication with tourists contribution to a positive international image, welcoming visitors from diverse backgrounds. In diplomatic affairs, English facilitates active participation in global discussion, positioning Pakistan as an engaged and influential player on the world stage. This widespread adoption of English underscores Pakistan's commitment to embracing the linguistic requirements of the globalized era.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nohmara binti Hamidi. Today we have Shamsia, who is from India, and we will be interviewing her today. So, first of all, can you introduce yourself a bit?
Hi, I'm Shamsia. I'm living in India, part of Kerala. That's all about me.
Okay. So, the third question is actually about how the English starts to expand in your country. How did it affect your country until now?
It doesn't affect in the bad way. Actually, we will take it as positive. Our kids are able to communicate with other country people with more confidence as they are learning from school and they are utilizing it in the school as well. So how it expands is like we are looking forward that our place are looking forward in most of the schools are having convent it's in an English medium. So it's like we are looking forward for our improvement to our nation, our generation that which is growing up.
Do you have any difficulties pronouncing words since it is common that you use Tamil in India? As an example, video is pronounced as video instead in your country. Can you give us an example?
Actually, mm, I'm actually a Malayali, but not in a Tamil. But we don't have any similar words in English, but our pronunciation will be different because we are using a British English. So our pronunciations are more to phonic sounds
Mm.
like kangaroo and kangaroo. So it's like the K pronunciation. So certain words like apple, apple. So they are bringing the sound, the K sounds are a bit different with phonic sounds. So we are speaking in a phonic sounds rather than in a S. So that's how it will be slightly difficult when you talk to a foreign people
Mm.
or any other people who are speaking in English. They will find difficult in our accents, not in our pronunciations actually. So our essence doesn't look like an English essence. It's because it's maybe using phonics
Mm.
sounds.
For the last question, what do you think about the growth of the English in your country?
Actually, it's growing to a better and improvement era where you see like almost our schools, except our government schools, because our government schools are using our first language as our mother tongue. But when you see other private schools, convents, or English medium schools, everything is based on English. The foundation will be in English, and our kids are improving more fast, far better. They are doing very good as their parents also able. They can communicate to the parents, so they will have the two-way communication right now. Comparatively with our native, only like one-way communications will be very difficult, right? So, but current situations are changing. Everybody are educating and updating their language toward English uh, to a better improvement status actually in India.
Okay. I think that's all for the questions. Thank you very much for your time and for answering my questions.
Thank you.
My name is Nuhmaira binti Hamidi and I will be covering on the outer circle country, which is India. My interviewee is a 35-year-old Indian named Shamsia Sulaiman and she works as a nurse. For the first question, I asked when the English starts to expand in your country and how did it affect your country until now. She answered that when the nation starts working with other countries such as United Kingdom and United States, that is when the English language starts to seep through. This can be implied when the British colonial era started in India. She has also said that this has affected her country in a positive light rather than a bad one. As one of the results, the children are able to communicate with people who are from other countries due to the knowledge they learn from the school and the way they utilize it. For the next question, do you have trouble pronouncing words? Say it's common for you to use Tamil in India. Tamil speakers use British English pronunciation. They tend to emphasize the phonic sounds of each syllable more distinctly compared to the speakers of other English varieties. This means that each syllable, especially the initial one, is enunciated clearly and sometimes drawn out, which can alter the rhythm and cadence of spoken English. For example, in the word kangaroo, a Tamil speaker might pronounce it as kangaroo, with a noticeable emphasis on each syllable, particularly the first one. Similarly, in words like apple, the initial sound might be elongated, resulting in a pronunciation like apple. This pronunciation pattern can pose challenge for non-native speakers or those accustomed to different English accent, as they may find it difficult to understand due to the unique rhythm and emphasis placed on its syllables. It's not just about the pronunciation of individual sounds, but also about the overall flow and cadence of speech, which can vary significantly across different English dialects and accents. For the third question, what do you think of the growth of the English in your country? The reason I ask this is to find out the reaction or opinion towards how the English language is becoming more and more common in her country. The answer she gave me was that it has gotten better and gaining improvement. Almost all of the schools, which are private and convents,
use English foundation, but the government schools still use their native language, Tamil. Not only that, she thinks it's a good way that the children are having a two-way communication with their parents rather than one-way communication by using only their native language. Her opinion on the current situation is heading to a better and advanced improvement in India. English serves as a crucial lingua franca in India, bridging communication gaps among its linguistically diverse population. With its historical legacy from British colonial rule, English has influenced various aspects of Indian society, becoming the language of teaching and business transactions. Its importance is underscored by its role in assessing better educational and employment opportunities, particularly in fields such as science, technology, and business. Additionally, exposure to English language media contributes to its widespread usage and familiarity across the country. In India is driven by economic, technological, educational, and cultural factors associated with increasing global interconnectedness. English plays a pivotal role in India's integration into the global economy, serving as the language of commerce, information technology, and international collaboration. Its prominence in education and research facilitates India's participation in the global academic community and enables scholars and professionals to engage in cross-border exchange. Furthermore, the influence of English language media and cultural expressions from all around the world further solidifies its position as a global language in the Indian context, contributing to its continued growth and relevance in the country.
Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Sufiyatu Sakinah binti Ataha, and I'm a student from KPM Seri Skandar. Firstly, can you introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Ratnawati Pertiwi, but you can also call me Nana. And I was a student from Telkom University Indonesia, and now I'm currently living in Bandung, Indonesia.
Okay, thank you. When did English start to expand in your country, and how did it affect your country until now?
English began to develop in my country since the colonial era, and the influence is still felt today through its wide use in many fields, such as education, business, technology, and even becoming a daily language for some of us.
Okay, thank you. So, do you have any difficulties pronouncing words, for example, mischievous, choir, and quinoa?
For me personally, I have a problem when I have to pronounce choir because it's like choir. So some of us read it as choir, but it also says choir, right? The right thing is choir.
Okay, thank you for answering the questions and agreeing to do this interview.
You're welcome.
Thank. Hi, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sufiyatu Sakinah binti Taha. Today I'm gonna present about the speaker that I have interviewed. Her name is Ratnawati Pertiwi, and she's from Indonesia. Her age is 21 years old, and she is a student at Telkom University Bandung. For the question 1, how often do people in your country uses English, and in what kind of setting? Based on her answer, I've noticed that most people in Indonesia uses English in big cities. They were also taught from kindergarten until high school, and most Indonesian people use English in daily life as a second language. For question 2, what's your reaction towards the English language expansion in your country? Based on her answer, the English developed since the colonial era. It affects business, education, and technology in Indonesia. It also becomes second language that are commonly used in Indonesia. For question 3, do you have any difficulties pronouncing words since there are certain alphabets that do not exist in your language alphabets? Based on her answer, she did not face any difficulties. It is a language that she uses often in communication. She also not unfamiliar and used frequently since she was a child. Even though she did not face any difficulties regarding English, many Indonesians may encounter difficulties when trying to pronounce English words. For example, the combination consonants ch and oi can be difficult to pronounce accurately. So, most Indonesians will say choir instead of choir. Next is English as lingua franca. It refers to the use of English as a common language of communication among speakers of different native languages. In the context of Indonesia, English serves as a lingua franca primarily in international settings such as business negotiations, academic conferences, and multinational organizations. In business, English is often used for international communication, negotiations, and collaborations with foreign partners or clients. Many Indonesian companies require employees to have proficiency in English, especially those involved in global trade and commerce. In the technology sector, English is essential for accessing online resources, participating in international conferences, and collaborating with global tech companies. Overall, while Bahasa Indonesia remains the primary language of communication within the country, English plays a significant role as a lingua franca, facilitating communication and interaction in various domains. Next is globalization of English. It refers to the broader phenomenon of English has become integrated into various aspects of Indonesian society due to globalization. It encompasses not only the use of English as a lingua franca, but also its influence on education, media, technology, tourism, and other domains. In education, English plays a pivotal role as Indonesia seeks to enhance its competitiveness in the global knowledge economy. The tourism industry also relies heavily on English due to Indonesia's popularity as a tourist destination. From hotel staff to tour guides, proficiency in English is crucial for providing quality services to international visitors. As a result, English proficiency is increasingly seen as a vital skill for participation in the digital age, shaping how Indonesians interact, learn, and engage with the global community. Overall, the globalization of English in Indonesia reflects the country's evolving role in the globalized world and the importance of English as a bridge to international opportunities and connections.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Danya Hana and here I am with my interviewee for this assignment. Can you please introduce yourself?
Assalamualaikum, my name is Ahmed Muhammad and I'm 24 years old. I'm a Palestinian who is currently studying and staying in Malaysia.
So let's move on with our questions. So that's all. So do you have any difficulties pronouncing words? Like since we know that the Arabic alphabet, the Arabic alphabet don't have the word P in it. So like, do you have difficulties to pronounce the word that has P in it?
Yeah, for example, the word people.
Yes.
Sometimes the people, like, they will be laughing, how to say, they will be laughing at it. They will be saying, like, you can say P, not B, because our P is very clear. It's same like the P in bird or something. It's not the similar with P. So that might be a bit the only difficulties, I guess, for me.
So how will you pronounce people in Arabic accent? Arabic English accent.
How to say, at the first, before I started to learn English much more, it happened that I was spelling the words with P, same like people as a B.
So it become Bible like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I see.
Which is right now, this is much less because I'm practicing the language much more.
When did English start to expand in your country? how did it affect your country until now? So, what is your reaction towards the expanding power of English in your country?
Sorry, come again. What was the last part of the question?
What is your reaction towards the expanding power of English in the country?
Okay, let's speak. Let's answer it one by one.
Okay.
The first one, you were asking that when when was it expanding in my country?
When did English start to expand in your country? Yeah.
I might say the people started to be aware of it, that they have to speak English after the first war of 1948, because it was one of the reasons that make the Israelis people who can occupy our country and who can stole our country was the people. They don't have enough knowledge about the culture, and they don't have the enough knowledge about the language as well. And that was one of the reasons that our country have been occupied for a very long time. So the people started to be aware of it, and they started to teach their children and their kids until this current generation, and it started to be very clear after the year of 2000 and above.
So, how did it affect your country until now?
It affected the people. They started to be much more aware about their culture, much more aware about their country, and they started to know that okay, we are occupied by these people, so we have to be careful. We have to do that and this, and as well as it helped us to explain to the other world about our own problem and our own war with these people, with the Israeli people.
So, like, what is your reaction towards the expanding power of English in your country? So, how would you react to that? Like, English is increasing in Palestine.
Yeah, it's. I think it might be much more better actually if they started to be like if it started to be expanding much more and more than right now, because of, as we all know, it's the first world language. So whoever comes from all over the world, they must be knowing English. So I think it might be much more better if it's gonna be like if they are gonna be speaking in English all the time, not all the time. I mean, oftenly, and they take it as a second native language also. So my react will be fully positive, I guess.
Okay, so I think that is all for this interview. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed, for spending your time.
Welcome, my pleasure.
Okay, that is all. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Dania Hana Safia. I am from DEC 5C. So today I will be covering the expanding circle country, which is Palestine. Before we move on to the analysis of the questions, I will introduce the interviewee first. His name is Ahmed Muhammad. He is 24 years old. He is a Palestinian and he is currently studying in Malaysia. The first question that I asked him is that when did English start to expand in his country and how did it affect his country until now? English started to expand in Palestine after the First War of 1948. Back then, the Palestinians did not know how to speak English. After they have been occupied for a long time and they started to realize that English is important. How did it affect the country until now? After the war and the occupation, the Palestinians started to teach English to their children and further generation. For the second question, I asked him what is his reaction towards the language expansion of English in his country. As English is currently increasing in Palestine, the interviewee's reaction is fully positive and he stated that it is better if the Palestinians speak English oftenly since it is the first world language. For the third question, I asked him, do you have any difficulties pronouncing certain words because certain letters does not exist in the Arabic alphabet? Mr. Ahmad said that yes, he had some difficulties when pronouncing the word that has the letter P. The letter P does not exist in the Arabic alphabet. So when he pronounced the word, for example, people, he will pronounce it as people. So the letter P will change it into the letter B, and police became Belize. Next is English as lingua franca in Palestine. English is taught as a foreign language in Palestinian schools and universities. Proficiency in English is often seen as an asset and is associated with access to better educational opportunities and employment prospects both locally and internationally. English is widely used in international diplomacy and business. As Palestine engaged with the global community, proficiency in English becomes essential for communication on the international stage, including participation in conferences, negotiations, and collaboration with international organizations. Finally is the globalization of English. English has become the primary language of global communication. Palestinians recognize the importance of English as a tool for accessing information, participating in online communities, and staying connected globally. Palestinians living abroad as well as members of the Palestinian diaspora often use English to maintain connections with their homeland. This exchange of ideas and communication to promote the use of English within the Palestinian community.